Alright guys, today we are going to be building a custom strut brace for this Integra. Because it's case swapped, not many strut braces are going to fit, so we're going to make one ourselves. This is the process on how we built it. Alright, we're starting off with a simple paper template, and then we're going to be transferring that to steel. Getting these base plates fitted in is going to take a really long time. They're really weird shapes, and there's critical dimensions because there's not a lot of space between the mounting hole and the shock flange. So we're going to work at it slowly, use the die grinder, and we're just going to go back and forth between the car, grind it a little, check it, mark it, grind a little more, kind of massage it into its tolerance, and get this thing fitting really nicely. That's the benefit of making this custom and making it all one piece and non-adjustable. To make it non-adjustable, it kind of has to be tailored to the car because each chassis is a little bit different, and to get the tolerances right, it kind of has to be custom made. So here we are. Alright, now that we have one of our plates pretty well fitted, we're going to use that as a transfer and mark it out on our second plate and go from there. Yep, more grinding. I think I probably spent 2 hours making these two plates. Definitely would be easier with a plasma table, but got to do it the old-fashioned way. Alright, we're squaring up some pizzas before our layout procedure. Just getting them all nice and uniform, that way when we mark out our holes, everything is nice and square, ready for our next job, which is going to be drilling these holes and then giving them a flared hole or a dimple die. I don't know why these things look like pizzas to me, but once we cut a hole in it, it'll be a pepperoni pizza. Alright, they're set up in the drill press now. We're just going to use a twist drill. I believe it's a 1-inch hole. I don't really like using hole saws when I don't have to. They don't really give the cleanest cut and the best dimension. So, twist drill for the win. Gonna come out really clean. Alright, we're set up here in the hydraulic press, flaring these holes. I got this set of dimple dies off Amazon. One of the best investments. It was only like $100. Alright, we're gonna hit everything with the DA once more, clean it with acetone. Now we're ready for welding. So you might be wondering why we're adding this strut bar and what it does. So to start, it attaches your two shock points together. This makes them more rigid and makes the shocks more sensitive to the ground input because they're not moving around. Another thing is when your chassis flexes, it can act like an undamped spring. So there's nothing controlling the rebound as the chassis rebounds out of its flex state. If you think about a shock and a spring, anytime the spring is compressed, the shock helps control the rebound of the shock. Well, your chassis doesn't have a damper controlling the rebound effect. So we need to eliminate any chassis flex as much as we can. Another thing is it's going to hold your shock mounts and your upper control arms more rigidly. So you're going to have less camber change and weird suspension geometry changes as you go through a corner. Alright, there we have it. A custom strut brace. Came out pretty good. This is stainless, so we had to use a 308 rod to get a good weld on there. I think it's going to be nice and strong, fairly light. and it fits the older chassis with a K-series, because the K-series sits a little bit farther back. All of the strut braces that they make, they mount them on this side, so it hits the valve cover. So I believe there's only one company that makes one of these strut braces, and they're about $800. Alright guys, that's a wrap. There she is, came out pretty good. Clears everything very nicely. Looks the part. Nice and lightweight. Definitely gonna feel this on the track when you take it out there. Well, I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe, like that video. Stay tuned for the next one. We got big plans for the Civic. This is just a little side project.